For over a century, TCU men's basketball has had its share of iconic moments. For head coach Jamie Dixon, he knows these moments all too well.
Has basket responsibility.
The clock starts the moment somebody inbounds touches the ball. Dixon, 2 seconds, launches the shot. He hit it! Dixon hit it! Dixon has hit the shot at the buzzer, and TCU has won it.
I do not believe it.
Jamie Dixon's buzzer-beating miracle shot over Texas won TCU the 1986 Southwest Conference regular season title, breaking a 9-year drought. In an interview with Dixon, he recalls this program-defining moment.
The atmosphere, the crowd, obviously all kind of came together. It was we were both at the top of the league. It was the last home game for us of the year, and so it had a lot of significance and kind of all came together.
Dixon capped over 100 appearances for the Horned Frogs, averaging 10 points per game, shooting 48% his junior season. 35 years later, he breaks down the play that cemented his legacy.
We called timeout, and there was, as I remember, 5 seconds left. I do remember we had a timeout, we called it. Play was really set up to get the ball in and cut off the big guys. And that was, we kind of had 4 guys up front and hit one of them and then break off of them.
I am at 66, cannot run 5 seconds down the court to get off to get a shot. To be dribbling a ball and to go through 3 defenders, no matter how passive their defense was at that point, it really defies logic that you could possibly do that. But Jamie Dixon put us on the map on basketball.
The next year, in his senior season, Dixon led TCU to another title, plus its first NCAA tournament appearance in over 15 years. The Frogs had not won back-to-back titles since a three-peat in the early 1950s.
Celebrations were done like that back then or what, but it certainly played well on the camera, how the students reacted, how the fans reacted, and so that had a lot to do with it at the time.
I wish I was there, but yeah, that was a great game. I'll always remember that, and that was just such a proud moment for a TCU alum.
This is Jack Wallace, TCU News Now. TCU Frog Aids, a branch of the Student Government Association, is a leadership program for current first-year students. The program aims to teach new students lessons on leadership and pursuing positions in other organizations in which the students are involved. Frog Aids has tried to retain its social aspects despite COVID, gathering in a socially distanced group in the Blue Ballroom for weekly Tuesday meetings.
Frog Aids has been the most consistent thing in an inconsistent year.
A 10-member upperclassmen leadership committee mentors the 41 freshmen. The organization's main goal is Big Project, the largest event hosted of the year. Past big projects have included a talent show and the Mental Health Mile. With last year's being canceled due to the pandemic, this year's Big Project is focused on making Texas feel like home.
Our why is to make TCU feel like home. So it's going to be like food trucks, games, just like a really fun event to get people out and involved with peers and just involved on campus.
Big Project 2021 is scheduled for Wednesday, April 21st. This is Jack Wallace, TCU News Now.
With heavy snow and ice, Texas experienced never-before-seen historically low weather temperatures that greatly impacted all aspects of the TCU community. We had the chance to talk with TCU students about their various Snow Week experiences.
I definitely think that they adapted as the week went on, but they were definitely not prepared for some of the things. I mean, we're in Texas, so they don't prepare for that, statewide. So I think the hardest part was food options on campus. When it came to Chick-fil-A, that was closed, and that's a necessity for me at least. And Union Grounds was hard, but the only thing that was open was the Blue, and so there's really long lines, and wait times for food was substantial. So that made it tough.
Additionally, for students who were without electricity or water, TCU opened up the rec center for students to take showers, recharge electronic devices, and sleep for a couple of nights if needed.
We were pretty lucky to be on campus. We didn't have any type of power outage or anything. I think the only thing is we just couldn't go anywhere or get groceries or anything, or we had to rely on campus dining, which obviously had limited hours, but that was about it. So
Shannon Murphy and Jack Wallace, TCU News Now.
Chick-fil-A has introduced 4 new menu items: the Cool Wrap, the Cobb Salad, the Chick-fil-A Market Salad, and the Spicy Southwest Salad. We talked to students at the restaurant to gauge their reactions on the new items.
All right, have you guys heard of the new items at Chick-fil-A? Have you tried any of them?
The Southwest salad.
What do you think?
It's pretty good. Good addition.
What about you?
I'm a big fan of the Cool Wrap. I've been really enjoying that lately.
I've tried all of them, and I think they're all great new additions.
If you had to pick one favorite, what would it be?
The Cobb salad's actually really good.
This is Charles Baggerly and Jack Wallace, TCU News Now.
A look back at this crazy year. We have the top stories from each month. And I'm Jack Wallace. These stories and more are coming up next.
This is TCU News Now.
While TCU seniors are looking back on their last 4 years, Fort Worth community members reflect on what they wish they knew as a college graduate. Skylar O'Brien has the story. TCU seniors should put this advice into practice as they set out on their new adventures. Now that the school year is coming to a close, we thought it would be nice to take a look at the year behind us. In August, TCU welcomed back students a week earlier than expected, with the first day of classes being on August 17th. Students could choose to take classes online or in person. Some classes were moved to large locations to accommodate social distancing, and classrooms and other high-contact areas were cleaned daily. August reached 608 COVID-19 cases on campus, an all-time high. After being locked in during a long quarantine, the month of October brought students a place to enjoy the outdoors. The Community Commons, an initiative created by SGA, introduced furniture in the middle of campus as a place where students could study, have fun with friends, and enjoy the different events that TCU would hold throughout the year. Having this space helped our Horned Frogs take care of their mental health after such a challenging couple of months. In December, there were no students on campus. The pandemic forced students to leave in November and not arrive back until January. TCU hoped the change would minimize the spread of COVID-19. This did not happen in over 20 years, as students normally come back after Thanksgiving break to finish their finals and attend the annual tree lighting ceremony. Coming up next, we look at what happened this semester, the top stories of each month. In February, Texas experienced a winter storm like no other. Power outages affected the whole state and caused classes to be canceled for the week. Some students were experiencing snow for the first time. There was a campus-wide snowball fight in the Commons. Due to so many students having nowhere to stay, the TCU rec turned into a hotel with students sleeping throughout the facility. A lot has happened this month, but Laurent Honeycutt became the first black student body president at TCU. He was elected into office on April 16th after running against former SGA Vice President Liliana Ogden. As TCU continues to diversify its campus and take strides towards a more inclusive environment, Honeycutt plans to move forward with the student body as one. Honeycutt has a very exciting year ahead of him. Him and the rest of the newly elected officers were sworn in yesterday. Now to Noah Parker for sports. Take it away, Noah. With the COVID-19 vaccine being more prevalent than ever, many states are starting to open up fully, leaving many students excited to have a normal summer again. Joey Palmieri has the story. We hope everyone enjoys their summer vacation. Thanks for watching TCU News Now. I'm Jack Wallace. Happening on TCU News Now. Chancellor Bashini held 2 town halls, what he said he hopes for the campus. Plus, how one TCU music group is having to respond to the pandemic. And the current crisis facing popular coffee shops, their response to overcrowding. From the TCU Newsroom, I'm Jack Wallace. Chancellor Victor Bashini held 2 town halls this week. The events were limited to 25 attendees each. The Chancellor said that vaccinations will not be mandatory unless the state mandates it. He also said that in order to improve the student experience, TCU is working to make living on campus all 4 years an option. But with the school not currently allowed to build any new buildings or dorms at the time, it likely won't happen anytime soon. For more on what the Chancellor said, go to tcu360.com. Racial and ethnic representation has always been an important topic in higher education. And with TCU having recently started its own Race and Reconciliation initiative, we have the details on how people on campus perceive the university's stance on diversity and inclusion. TCU will celebrate its first ever Reconciliation Day on April 21st. The Fort Worth Zoo is ranked #1 in the nation by USA Today. The zoo is currently undergoing construction and finishing the second phase of its master plan. Charles Baggerly has the story. You can make reservations to visit Elephant Springs on the Fort Worth Zoo's website. A group of students has brought their personal history and heritage to campus. Skylar O'Brien has the highlights and sounds from the new music group Mariachi Sangre Royale. Mariachi Sangre Royal is hoping to perform for audiences around the country soon, COVID permitting. Coming up next, how TCU students are searching for jobs amid the pandemic. And where TCU baseball is heating up, where the team is headed. This is all coming up next. The number of COVID cases at TCU are continuing to decline. There are currently only 16 cases reported, one of them an employee. There is still a full plan to return to campus in the fall, but Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs Kathy Cavins-Toll said that face coverings and social distancing will be required for the coming months. She plans to continue answering any questions students may have. With just a couple of weeks left in the school year, TCU students are looking for ways to spend their time this summer. Many students are looking for jobs and internships, but with COVID-19, the search has become harder than usual. Shannon Murphy has the story. TCU offers a wide variety of resources to help students who are just beginning their career. If you're still looking for opportunities for this summer, check out careers.tcu.edu. Now to Lauren Cottrell with the latest in TCU sports. The number 12 TCU baseball team is on fire after a conference opening sweep against Baylor last weekend. The Frogs offense came alive as they outscored the Bears 24-4 over the weekend. Catcher Zach Humphreys collected 7 hits, 5 RBIs, and 5 runs throughout the 3 games, making him and the TCU offense a force to be reckoned with this season. The Frogs continued their streak last night after they defeated UT Arlington 5-3. After their 6-game win streak, the Frogs are now 16-7 with an undefeated conference record, putting them in first place in the Big 12. Next up, the Frogs are heading to Norman as they take on the Oklahoma Sooners this weekend. The TCU women's soccer team will take on Oklahoma State this Saturday right here in Fort Worth. Having already clinched a Big 12 title in their fall 2020 season, the TCU women's soccer team is back for more. After 2 canceled games and a week off following the Frogs vs. Sooners showdown, the team is ready to finish off this spring season as they prepare for their 5th straight trip to the NCAA tournament. Back to you, Noah and Andre. Finding a coffee shop near campus to study at has always been a challenge, but online classes have made it even harder. Many shops are constantly crowded, and TCU students and business owners have noticed the difference. With classes in person next fall, coffee shops on and around campus might look a little different, but the demand for caffeine will likely remain the same. Thanks for watching this week's TCU News Now. I'm Jack Wallace. Happening on TCU News Now. Budget cuts have affected all parts of TCU. What art leadership students are saying about their minor being cut. Plus, the women's team putting TCU sports on the map. The legacy Yasmin Ryan is going to leave behind. From the TCU Newsroom, I'm Jack Wallace. With Chancellor Bashini recently announcing that TCU will return to in-person classes next semester, students and faculty are left wondering whether masks will be required in the classroom or not. Ryan Bennell has the story. For more information regarding the updated COVID-19 guidelines, visit tcu360.com. The number of Hispanic students on campus has slowly increased since 2017. But many of those students say they still feel like it is hard to find someone who looks like them at TCU. Brian Contreras has the story. As of last fall, there were 1,769 Hispanic students at TCU. Students we spoke with say they hope programs like TRIO and other organizations for minority students will help to create a more diverse look in the future here on campus. And the new therapy option for TCU students. It's all coming up after the break. Welcome back. TCU student body officer elections are 1 week away. From now until Friday, April 16th, candidates will campaign for their spot. To cast your ballot, students will receive a voting link via email. The vice president race will begin with a primary next Wednesday and the general election taking place on Friday, April 16th. All current undergraduate students are eligible to vote. Stay tuned to TCU News Now for the latest on SGA elections. We are just now learning about the cause of Tiger Woods' car accident from 6 weeks ago. According to the LA County Sheriff's Department, Woods mistakenly pressed the gas instead of the brake when approaching a curve in the highway. This caused his vehicle to reach speeds up to 87 miles per hour. Woods is currently recovering from significant leg injuries obtained in the crash. Wellhaven, Ryan was also named National Player of the Week and scored 2 goals as TCU blew the doors off of 15th-ranked Oklahoma State 4-0. She's contributed to every goal the Frogs have scored since spring play started, which is so far 6 and counting. Goalkeeper Emily Alvarado also had 6 saves en route to her 8th shutout on the year. Next up for the Frogs, they're scheduled to travel to College Station to try their luck in the SEC against Texas A&M this Saturday. Soccer wasn't the only sport lighting it up over the weekend, as the Diamond Frogs of TCU are riding a 10-game win streak after last night's road win over Tarleton State. Freshman Braden Taylor homered in his 4th straight game, bringing his season total to 8. The Frog Bats are on fire, having gone yard in 18 games this season. The team brought the Lupton Magic to Norman, Oklahoma this past weekend, where they eclipsed 10 runs twice en route to a 3-game road streak over the Sooners. Next up, the Frogs face their toughest test yet, going west for the weekend for a 3-game series against Texas Tech in Lubbock. And I'm Jack Wallace. We will see you again next week.